Good afternoon, everyone. I am Janando Cruz. You can call me Drew. I am one of the researchers of Project GUHeat. So the title of my presentation is Urbanization and the Urban Heat Island Phenomenon in Baguio City. So to start, let us first have a brief background about Baguio City, one of Project GUHeat's 7 study sites. So, okay. So Baguio City is one of the 33 highly urbanized cities in the Philippines and is located in northern Luzon, approximately 250 kilometers north of Manila. It is considered as the country's summer capital with an annual average temperature of 19.7 degrees Celsius. Bakit mas mababa yung air temperature niya compared to the rest of the country? It is because the city has an altitude of approximately 1,417 meters above sea level. So like the rest of the Philippines, Baguio City has 2 seasons, a dry season that lasts from November to April, and a wet season from May to October. Now, if we compare the air temperature in Baguio City and Quezon City, which is another priority site of Project GUHeat, we can readily see large difference in air temperature from January 1 to December 31, 2018. By the way, this data was obtained from Pag-asa. So, we can observe a minimum difference of 3.4 degrees Celsius and a maximum difference of 12.7 degrees Celsius. So, given this, bakit pinili ng Project GUHeat ang Baguio City as one of its study sites for a project na ang focus ay urban heat islands, ang lamig ng temperature sa Baguio City? Before answering that, let us first define what is an urban heat island. So, an urban heat island is a phenomenon which results from having higher air or surface temperature in urban areas relative to their surrounding rural regions. So, in this figure, this figure shows an urban heat island profile wherein cities or city center or sa case ng Baguio City, Central Business District, has higher temperature than other land cover or other land uses or land covers. So, in this case, mas mababa yung commercial, residential, rural, and vegetated areas compared sa city center. It is also important to distinguish what a surface temperature is and what an air temperature is. Surface temperature is the temperature ng surface ng isang object. Let's say, hinawakan natin yung surface ng ating microwave oven, yung temperature na ma-feel natin, yun ang surface temperature niya. Meanwhile, yung air temperature, mas familiar tayo dito dahil ito yung nare-record ng Pag-asa weather stations and usually nire-report sa mga weather reports. So, in order to show na Baguio City is an urban heat island, let us compare the surface temperature of Baguio City versus its surrounding municipalities. We have Tuba, Itogon, Sablan, La Trinidad, and Tublay. So here is the 2019 land surface temperature covering the municipalities in Baguio City, and here are their average surface temperatures. So based dito sa figure, we can see that Baguio City ranks 2 in terms of average surface temperature, while yung Itogon ay rank 1. But if we check kung bakit mainit yung Itogon, let's select a portion, a hot portion in Itogon, we can see na yung mainit na area sa Itogon ay hindi naman urban areas. Instead, ito ay bare or areas na hindi vegetated. Pero kapag sinelect natin yung hot area, nag-select tayo ng hot area sa Baguio City, ang makikita natin ay buildings. So, built-up area. So, in this case, we have Central Business District. And if we compare naman Baguio City with its past self, or in other words, if we compare the land surface temperature of Baguio City in year 2000, 2010, and 2019, we can observe 2 things. First ay makita natin yung expansion ng hot areas or hotspots in Baguio City. So sa 2000, obvious naman na maliit pa yung area na hot. While sa 2010, nag-expand na siya and nag-expand pa siya further noong 2019. Yung second na manonotice natin is yung magnitude. Noong year 2000, based sa symbology, hindi pa ganong kataas yung surface temperature. While sa 2010 and 2019, makikita natin yung red areas, meaning yun yung mga highest na surface temperatures. So, based doon, masasabi natin na Baguio City is considered as an urban heat island. Now, why do urban heat islands occur in cities like Baguio City? So we have 4 primary factors. We have low vegetation cover, thermal properties of built-up, urban form and geometry, and anthropogenic impacts, which include exhaust from vehicles, cooking activities, industrial plants, etc. Now, why are built-up areas hotter than vegetated areas? So if we observe this illustration, sa areas with high vegetation coverage, yung incoming solar radiation ay nai-intercept ng trees and ginagamit nila to sa process called evapotranspiration wherein na-evaporate or natatranspire yung water stored in trees which result to cooler surrounding air temperature. Meanwhile, sa areas with high built-up coverage, since yung buildings natin at yung roads natin ay may low albedo, i-absorb nila most of the incoming energy and i-store nila yon. Then at night, sa kanila to i-release, resulting to warmer nights. So Project GUHeat did several fieldwork activities to further show that urbanization impacts the temperature. So we did a thermal imaging survey using FLIR camera last October. So we employed 2 methods. Yung first method namin, kinabit namin yung thermal camera using a tripod above sa ibabaw ng parang isang rooftop such that makikita tong portion ng session road na to. And naka-fix siya while nagte-take ng snapshots ng thermal image every 15 minutes. So from the images, we can observe na hotter yung roads natin and roofs. While cooler naman, relatively cooler naman yung ating trees. For example, itong balete trees and itong pine trees. We have also selected sampling points. Points 1 and 2 are located in the middle of the road, while 3 and 4 are shaded by trees. And we can observe na in general, warmer yung, well expected na warmer yung area sa points 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. Yung second method na ginawa namin was kinabit namin yung thermal camera sa DJI-inspired na drone and nagpalipad kami sa above ng session road para maka-acquire ng aerial thermal image ng session road. So similar dun sa unang result, makikita natin dito na warmer yung roof, yung mga streets, while cooler naman yung mga trees, areas with vegetation, with grass, and mga areas na shaded by buildings. Aside from this, we conducted a diurnal surface temperature survey with the help of the RAs in Baguio City. So, nag-measure kami ng hourly surface temperature ng different materials that we can find in urban areas. But ito, ginawa namin study site is Burnham Park. So here are the trends, or diurnal trends of each material. And here are the maximum surface temperature values. We arrange it from highest to lowest. So we can observe na yung mga may pinakamataas na surface temperature ay mga materials na bumubuo sa mga buildings natin and roads. We have metal floor, asphalt, galvanized iron, stone wall, concrete road. While yung mga lowest ay yung mga natural na elements ng cities We have grassland, small plants, tree canopy, and pond water. So based on these data, we can already infer na malaki nga yung effect ng urbanization in increasing the temperature in Baguio City. But to further support this claim, we conducted another study which is entitled Spatiotemporal Multisatellite Biophysical Data Analysis of the Effect of Urbanization on Land Surface and Air Temperature in Baguio City, Philippines. This was presented in the Philippine Geomatics Symposium last 2019, and this is in collaboration with the Research and Innovation Office of University of the Cordilleras. Ang main objective namin dito is to show na yung built-up expansion has an effect on the increase in temperature. Also, isa pa naming objective was to detect the hotspots in Baguio City from 1990s up to present. So here is the summary of the methodology. So the first step was land cover change mapping. We used 3 satellite images, Landsat with a spatial resolution of 30 meters, Rapid Eye with a spatial resolution of 5 meters, and Planet Scope with a spatial resolution of 3 meters. The reason why gumamit pa kami ng Landsat was because earlier na-release ang Landsat, meaning meron siyang data from 1990s up to present. While yung other two, yung Rapid Eye, 2012 lang nag-start, while yung Planet Scope 2017 lang. The second step was land surface temperature mapping. So katulad ng pinakita ko kanina, these 2 steps will be discussed further in presentation 5. So after mapping, the third step is correlation analysis. We calculated the correlation between built-up extent and surface temperature na galing sa step 2, as well as built-up extent and air temperature na galing sa pag-asa. Lastly, we conducted a hotspots detection para ma-delineate and ma-observe yung expansion ng hotspots in Baguio City. So here are the results. First ay yung land cover maps of Baguio City from 2013 to 2019. Visually pa lang, makikita na natin yung rapid expansion ng built-up areas from 2013 to 2019. So in a span of 7 years. As well as yung decrease ng vegetation cover, specifically yung covered ng pine trees. So no 2013, we have estimated a vegetation area of approximately 4,885 hectares. But noong 2019, naging 3,544 hectares na lang siya. While yung built-up naman na 1,094 hectares noong 2013, nag-expand to almost 2,400 hectares in 2019. So, for finding 2 naman, we based dun sa high resolution na Rapid Eye based built-up expansion map, we have estimated that 172 hectares of vegetated and bare areas have been converted to built-up areas from 2012 to 2018. If we take a closer look kung saan yung samples na mga na-convert, so here's one sa SM. Noong 2012, yung portion na to ay vegetated pa. Pero nung 2018, na-convert na siya to built up. Here's another one. Last 2012, dominated pa siya by pine trees. But in 2018, na-observe natin na may nag-construct na ng condominium building. So next finding namin, the mean annual land surface temperature of Baguio City from 1990 to 2019 has an increasing trend with an increment of 0.11 degrees Celsius per year, while very little variations were observed in the annual mean air temperature. Now, this is primarily because yung land surface temperature natin ay average ng buong city. So affected siya in case may changes sa temperature sa kahit saang parts ng Baguio City. While itong air temperature naman ay from pag-asa, so meaning naka-fix lang siya sa weather station, kaya wala tayong masyadong variation na na-observe. In relation to that, yung finding 4 namin was the increase in the built-up extent significantly intensified the surface temperature during the dry season. So we calculated an R of 0.61, 0.63, and 0.88. So na-observe namin siya sa lahat ng satellite data-derived built-up maps namin. So regarding the hotspots detection naman, our finding 5 was that the main LST hotspots were detected inside the central business district. And temporally naman, we can observe that from 1998 to 2011, gradual lang yung expansion sa central business district, but noong 2014 to 2019, nag-increase siya extensively to 305 hectares ng hotspots. In relation to that, yung finding 6 namin was, on average, 98.5% of the hotspots detected from 1995 to 2019 are within the equivalent built-up area. Around 1.5% lang yung hotspots na makita sa mga bare lands. Now, ano yung key takeaways namin sa studies and sa data na shinow namin? So, first was the studies have illustrated na yung spatial and temporal evolution or growth ng hotspots in Baguio City are affected by the expansion of the built-up structures or in other words, the urbanization in Baguio City. So that's why immediate actions on the continuous urbanization is needed to prevent its negative impacts on Baguio's climate, specifically sa surface and air temperature niya. So yung second presenter, yun yung magiging focus niya. Yung focus niya is, what if wala tayong gawin na interventions? Mag-continue lang yung urbanization sa Baguio City. Ano yung magiging impact niya sa air temperature in Baguio City? So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.